Good day, gentle people, it's your favorite Mr. 42. Welcome back to my channel for the last video of 2021. For this occasion I want to share the YouTube history of myself. A year ago I never created a video of myself, like ever. And as we all know, that has changed since. And it all started by accident. In the early evening of March 17, I was watching a stream by Seek Truth Speak Truth. At some point he posted a link in the chat and I clicked it. It was to a website with the same stream, but without a delay. Interesting. So I closed YouTube and continued watching on that website. That website was StreamYard and I had no idea what it was at the time. I did find out, very quickly.
We've got Limey Play. I'm just going to add you, mate. Limey Play is an absolute legend, so welcome to the stream.
Oh, hello.
And we also, we also have Mr. 42. Yes, mate, perfect. And then Mr. 42 as well. Just adding you.
Oh, my. Good evening.
Hologram.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, we've got a hologram. That is awesome.
I was clearly not prepared and ran off to get my headset. That of course does not explain the hologram. Why did I have that and claim I never created a video? I'm a tinkerer. Just a weird hobby to make things I've never done before.
That is CGI.
Really, I don't think so. It looks real to me.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Wow. See, look, that's mate.
That is the Enterprise thingies, wasn't it? Brilliant.
So, good evening.
How have you been then, Limey? How are you, Mr. 42?
Well, you look well, man. You look good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, buddy. You too. That's that the same haircut, isn't it? It's that fresh look, the beard. You legend. Mr. 42, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. I've had a busy day with work, relaxing in the evening. Jessie was sharing her premiere of the video from this evening. And then you were there saying that you were going live. So yeah, here I am, just following you guys around.
Yeah, I don't think sorry if you have been in the chat before, but I don't think I'd actually met you before, mate. So welcome along.
Thank you. I've not been following you a lot, but I've been following Cats a lot, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd do the same, to be honest.
And that were my first few seconds on YouTube ever. It was kind of funny, but it didn't create a spark in me at that moment to become a creator. That was a completely different misunderstanding. There is a group of people trying to learn German, including myself. They meet weekly on Discord to improve their skills as friends. The misunderstanding happened when there was a plan to do something for next week, like a homework assignment. I thought it was to create some sort of presentation about Flat Earth, so I presented it as a video.
Hier wurde dann nur Hinflug eingegeben und hier wurde der erste mögliche Abflugtag, der 4. Dezember 2020, eingegeben.
Und genau hier steht, warum das in diesem Zeitraum keine Möglichkeit ist. Du bist ein Lügner.
That was not the assignment, and I still don't know what it was. But it created a little spark, and I've been creating videos since. Aber nie wieder auf Deutsch. Not ever again in German. First I created videos on Karens, but that became pretty boring quickly. And we all know what I do now. So there you have it. The creation of the Mr. 42 YouTube channel was based on mistakes and misunderstandings. Please enjoy the rest of the STST stream, and I wish you all a very happy new year.
So
Don't we all?
I'm like the cheap Cats version. No, really joking. So we were aware that he was the guy that kind of debunked me, if you know what I mean. I'm like an ex-flat earther. So he was actually the one that brought me back to reality, shall we say, was Conspiracy Cats.
Weird, because he was the one pulling me into Flat Earth. I mean, debunking, but he was the one pulling me in the first place.
Yeah.
And now
I think
you're
he is,
teaching him German, you Jesse?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I think Conspiracy Cats is a lot of people's first. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, that could get taken completely the wrong way.
We have to meme this.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
definitely took it a bit, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Oh dear.
Has anyone looked at how?
That's brilliant.
Okay, 30 minutes, so we can go back later and meme it.
Yeah. I like the one from last night. What was it? And she doesn't have OnlyFans.
No OnlyFans, so just so you people know.
Yeah. but mine, by the way, is www.onlyfans/stst.com. No, I'm joking. God.
You go. I've read an article about a guy selling feet pic on OnlyFans, and he makes $700 a day.
Blooming
You
heck.
give me a business idea.
I mean,
You
come
almost
on,
can't
that's a
blame
good
people.
business
Yeah, that's
idea.
what I'm going to do after this. Guys, I've got to go. I need to start taking pictures of my feet. Oh my God.
There's some
That
strange,
sells.
there's some strange people out there, and they're willing to pay way over the odds.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
There was someone, they sold their own bath water, didn't they? And they were selling it. What was the
Yeah,
name?
what was the
Delphine
Belle
or something?
Delphine?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
Yeah.
if people want to have it,
Do you
you can
think
blame her
flat
for
earthers
selling it.
would try to say all feet are flat?
well,
I think I'm on a
I
bit of a
actually saw a
lag.
meme once.
Yeah.
I saw a meme once, and that said, like, do you know how I know the Earth is flat? Because our shoes are flat, rather than curved.
Big brain energy right there.
Oh God.
I mean, we could set up an
That's awesome.
online store and sell, I don't know, water from Flat Ocean or something. There would be flat earthers buying it, probably.
Yeah. Holy flat water.
Or selling ice from the armed penguins from Antarctica.
Yes. Actually, before I saw this program recently about like the invention of refrigeration, and they were saying obviously before that they used to literally like just take chunks of Antarctic ice and ship it basically to England and Europe and things, and like so basically we used to take some of that ice wall, like so people did see the ice wall. So how that never got like, but yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, and I actually thought, I should do a video about that.
Yeah,
I should actually maybe do a video about that. How
absolutely.
people were going there, and actually that's
Stealing
I'm not saying
ice.
that's how we literally stealing ice from the ice wall to have cold beers. But
I mean, humans are weird. We have in stores in Germany where you can buy ice spheres without many bubbles in it, so they look like perfect spheres. But a bag with basically 1 liter of frozen water costs €5. A liter of frozen water. How can people buy them? That humanity was a mistake. I mean, come on.
yeah, sometimes I wonder how we got as far as we have.
Yeah.
Some of us haven't got that very far at all. I mean, look at all the flat earthers. They haven't advanced in a long time.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
like have and then went back.
Yeah. Very much so.
When I did that Anne Boleyn video, like someone commented and said, the funny thing is, this was like 500 years ago, and there was probably less flat earthers then, if you know what I mean, than there is today.
And that is so weird.
And that was a great video as well. When are you next doing something like that, Seek?
Hopefully there'll be something out by the end of March.
Like the historical type stuff.
Yes, mate. Yeah. It's going to be based on the witchcraft. You know, the kind of like when
wicked.
They hunted the witches. So it's about the Witchfinder General. And he was like basically quite local to where I am. So I'm going to visit places where, you know, they burnt witches and try and give a historical point of view from it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that'll be quite interesting. I'm trying to just look around and do anything kind of near me that interests me, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
these are so interesting videos. It's such a different thing from what you did before, but I really enjoyed it. That's why I commented I could watch a whole documentary like this. It was so interesting, and you just delivered the information so well. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I love making those videos. I had actually filmed that and nearly got it all edited, and then my phone broke, so that was the second time I did that. So maybe that's afterwards I said I'm kind of glad, because I'm kind of glad of it, because it was almost like a trial run, and I literally, you know, was to the point where I'm about to, you know, finally edit it, and my camera's gone funny. Finally edit it and get it out, and then my phone literally just like black screened, and I lost all the footage, and I was like, oh no. But yeah, managed to actually recreate it, and I think better than the first time. So excellent.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think it was fresh air away. It could thing on the telly, you know, like it seemed so professional. Like Jesse says, I could have watched like that as an hour-long show on telly easily.
Really, yeah. And it was only actually 6 minutes long, I think, or 7 minutes maybe. So to try, and my next goal is to get like maybe 15 minutes, because I think people would then really get into it a bit more as well, I think, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And I really like the shots you took, like the B-roll. And I think that's what it made so professional looking. The B-roll while you're talking, and the delivery of the whole thing. It was very interesting how you told us what you were talking about.
Yeah,
it was really
I mean,
cool.
that was, I mean, I must admit, a big help to me. I mean, I'm still really good friends with her as my ex-girlfriend. So she actually kind of played Anne Boleyn in that, and kind of, you know, did a lot of artistic direction, I suppose. So yeah, you know, it's kind of, we realised how good a team we are in a situation like that, if you know what I mean, where, so that's cool. It's something where you couldn't do that on your own, if you know what I mean. You need someone there, obviously filming it, and but I've seen other videos, and that says like a production line of about 12 people, if you know what I mean. And I thought, well, blooming heck, that was just me and one other person, you know. So yeah. Obviously this channel has been built around Earth, though, if you know what I mean. So I'm also thinking about just starting a new channel called A Part of History, which is like what these videos have been titled under, and at the minute kind of post them on both channels for about 6 months, and then maybe eventually only post those on that channel, if you know what I mean. Because sometimes I think someone must look on my page and think, what the hell is going on? It's got live streams, like, do you know what I mean? He's got live streams, he's sitting there singing, is trying to do comedy videos, and then, do you know what I mean? And then it's just like, what am I watching? Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to be a real fan of STST, I think, to understand. I think like an outsider would just come in and just be like, what? Like,
Mr. Sensible is on.
Hi, Mr. S. Yes, my mom said he is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom. Really?
Did she? Yeah.
I will just leave it at he is smooth.
And she said he looks a bit like Phil Collins. She likes him.
Phil Collins. Yeah. No, Mr. S is a cutie, and I can see that. I definitely can. That was a good chat last night with you, mate.
He disappointed me.
Absolutely.
He did something that very much disappointed me. He made a video about the shadow getting smaller from a distance, and he failed to use cheese. And it was a miss.
Yes, should definitely have been done with a big wheel of cheese.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
I loved his video about measuring the earth.
I concur.
Did you see that?
Ooh.
Oh, brilliant. There is actually a link, if you wanted to jump on, Mr. Ince, there is a link a bit further up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it now. If not, I'll have to jump off again.
Oh.
Well, there's 3 of you here now, so it's not going to be quite so awkward, is it? So I'll just put another link in the chat, just in case Mr. S does want to jump on.
He says he's got a run apparently. So.
Yeah.
But I might have to jump off in a second anyway because my internet speeds are terrible at the moment. I think because where I am on the holiday park, the internet's all done with like a receiver, you know, so it comes into the main office and then each home has a little receiver or a little satellite thing. So like my upload is it's about 1/10 of what it should be for streaming. And I think, you know, like, yeah, I'm getting a lot of lag, so I might jump off in a bit. And that.
Not a problem.
Because it's hard. When there's lag, I keep interrupting people because I'm hearing you after, you know? So, because of the timing. So, yeah. I'm going to be in the chat. And, yes, thank you. Good to see you. And, yes, I will talk to you guys with my fingers.
Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah. I kind of had to think for a second then. It's like, what does he mean? Like,
you don't want to know.
No.
I mean, I learned as a German who sometimes doesn't understand certain words, just laughing and saying, yeah, that's most of the time fitting. So no one notices.
That's literally how I live my life. It's like,
totally.
and like, this is with people that are speaking to me in English. So,
okay. I mean,
I'm joking.
I forget how to speak German because I'm always talking English the whole day. I prepare my videos in English. I research everything in English. I talk to the people then in English. So when my boyfriend comes home, at times I just speak English to him because I don't remember that I'm German.
That's strange, isn't it? I know a lot of like some people, obviously, you know, the American culture that kind of has spread across Europe, I suppose, as well, if you know what I mean. Because is saying Germany is like, say, American TV, is that bigger? Well, not say just American TV, but is there a lot of American shows and things that people watch? And is that mainly in you know, sort of subtitled? Or what I remember you saying last night actually about that, when German things are subtitled sometimes, how the tone of voice doesn't match what they're saying, or like an English person will have like a really posh English accent.
It's weird because the dubbed version, of course, when there's an English person or an American person talking, there's no difference in German when they dub it. And so the English persons are always like a little bit posh and talking about, oh, well, are you sure? And it's so weird when you think about that. It's, I don't know, a drug dealer, a gangster, and he has this weird way of talking because they don't know how to show that the guy is from England. That's why I don't like the dub version. So since we have Amazon Prime and Netflix, I only watch in English the shows and maybe with the subtitles, but that's a whole different story. At times there's just no sense behind it. They're completely different things, the things they're saying and the subtitles. It's so weird.
Yeah. We've got Bullet Bill actually as well, so we're just going to add you in. Just adding you in now, mate. Hello, Bullet Bill.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi.
Hi, Jesse. I saw one of your videos actually. I saw being featured. It was very good.
Awesome.
Seems like you go after the sort of right-wing nutters. Or
the nutters, basically. I don't care where they're from. I will talk about them.
I'm just going to be back. I'll be back in 1 minute, guys. Bullet Bill, you legend. Sorry, I nearly took you off the stream there.
And again, it's our stream. What are we doing?
I'm glad that you having a pop at these anti-vaxxers though, because
there we go.
I think they really need the attention right now. I think,
absolutely,
especially because of what's happening right now. They need to be addressed. It's almost like a strict teacher. You know, it's almost like, now look, this is not okay. You need to stop.
Yeah, it is.
Stop talking nonsense and just
and it's a dangerous thing, especially in the moment, because when there's so many people not wanting to vaccinate themselves and their kids, they're endangering not only themselves and their kids, but everyone else. I mean, we had a loss in our family due to COVID-19. Many people in my family had COVID pretty severely, and it's dangerous. And those people who say, "Oh, I don't know a victim," be happy about it.
Yeah,
and
sorry to hear about that. But yeah, it's true. I think the people saying these things, and I know this isn't going to happen and wouldn't necessarily help anything, but I kind of almost hope that they would get almost like shown around a COVID ward, you know, or something like that, because I think that will put things into perspective. That will, if these people were shown, so here's the mortuary, here's where we put the bodies, and we have run out of space. And what I'm saying, that's not hyperbole. That happened. That is quite common now, sadly.
Yeah.
And you know, just think about that. There's no more room for bodies, and you have there was an interview on TV actually. They were talking to some of the nurses, you know, and some of the healthcare professionals that are having to deal with this. And there was I think there was it was a nurse that dealt with that helped with the mortuary that dealt with the bodies. And she just said, you know, we've never dealt like anything like this before, and it's just incredibly sad. And she broke down in the interview.
Yeah, it's devastating for those people as well.
See that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I talk a lot. So
no,
some of the nurses, because nurses, I think, are the best people ever. I think that they're wonderful, wonderful people, and some of them, you know, that they'll come. I've heard stories of that they'll come back from the weekends to you know, their new working week, and they'll find out, well, X, Y, and Z patients are dead. You know. They're gone, and it's
horrible.
At my local hospital, actually had to have like a more or less like hire some refrigerated vehicles to actually put bodies in, if you know what I mean. Our morgue had actually got to the point where it was full, you know, and people don't see that. I remember people saying like, "Oh, well, I'm going past the hospital and all the car parks are empty," and it's like, well, yeah, because they're not. Yeah, they're not allowed people there to visit Do you know what I mean? Like that's why the car parks are empty. Or going around a non-COVID ward and going, where is everyone? Well, there's no one in there because they're all in the COVID one. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
it's so stupid.
I mean, you got a COVID patient. They're not going to be sat out in the open. I mean,
totally. But I've read an article. I think it was in Costa Rica, where people that don't wear masks and deny COVID-19, when they get arrested and charged, they have to help the people on the graveyards to dig the graves for the COVID-19 people who died from it, because they don't have enough employees to do that. So they say, okay, your charge or your I don't know how it's called, your
punishment.
Yeah, thank you. Is to help the people on the graveyard dig the graves, because there's probably in the whole region 2 people working in there, because they didn't need more before COVID. And so they kind of show the people in that way, it is real and you will have to help us. And I think it's a good way to punish people for those offenses.
I think that's a brilliant idea, actually, because it's like you said, it's people that they might not have experienced personally or been close to someone who has experienced personally, and like you rightly said, good for you. I mean, luckily, I haven't caught it. Luckily enough for me, because and if I did catch it, thankfully, if I did catch it, the chances are I'll recover. But that's not a guarantee. I could be in the hospital. I could be on a ventilator, or one of my parents that they might have caught it. It's a horrible thing. Absolutely. And you can't just brush it aside, because it's the conspiratorial thinking that I don't like. You know, that is if it doesn't sort of fit your narrative, then it's probably fake. I think no.
I saw a nice fact. I think it was Sarcastic Barman, but he was saying that basically by this time, say in 2020, from January to getting to this point in the year, in the UK, I think there had been 15,000 more deaths than in 2021 from January to now. If you know what I mean, that's quite a significant number, isn't it? If you know what I mean, like in within 3 months, we've already had 15,000 less people die, which I look at that obviously as a good thing. The graph is just going down and down and down. We're getting there. I think we really are getting there. What's Mr. 42? Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
I was born in the Netherlands, but I'm currently living in Germany.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, my backstory is a bit different, but my current story is the same as Jesse's. We are from different part of Germany, but yeah, it's not actually very different from the Netherlands as at all. But I do not really follow the news, to be honest, so I'm not 100% sure what's happening. I do work for selling medical equipment, so last year was a hectic year for us. I have had the hospitals on the line. We need this, and this for our COVID department. But yeah, since that was set up, that has subsided. It's not so busy anymore. That does not mean those departments are gone at all, of course. I just don't have the extra work from it anymore. But as Bullet just said, with the nurses and the doctors are the real heroes there, and they will meet it still every day.
They are heroes, aren't they? You know, they really do deserve more pay. I know that's the thing. I mean, no nurse gets into nursing for decent money. They do it because that's the career they want. But I do believe they deserve more than they get, if you know what I mean, far more. And it would be then more attractive to people, you know, and you'd only have better people in positions, wouldn't you? And I don't know.
I tell you what happens, Seek, and I'm going to get on my soapbox like I very often do, but
please do, mate. I love it.
The problem is there's a lot of that when it comes to caring professions, in my opinion, because quite a while ago, actually, I used to work in primary schools, you know, with younger children, and I actually even worked in a nursery for a bit, and that was just to make up numbers, you know, because you had proper nursery nurses there, and they get a bit short, so they borrowed someone like me, and you know, and that's working with very, very young kids, and what happens sometimes, especially in schools and especially in nursing, I would suspect, is people kind of take the goodwill of these people for granted, you know? And things are asked of people because they know, because they're a very caring and decent person, that they will do it. And sometimes they're not really given any compensation for it, you know. And like you said, that no, they didn't go into that profession for the money, but that doesn't mean that shouldn't be reflected in their. It doesn't mean their hard work should not be recognised. And so yeah, I really, really, really hope that our nurses in particular can be paid a lot more than they are right now. Put the taxes up. I don't care. I'll gladly pay it if that goes towards, especially these nurses that have been working so hard. Then I will pay it. Because right now I just don't feel okay with it. It really makes me uncomfortable that the amount they're getting paid.
It feels like our NHS though it feels like our NHS is kind of slowly being stripped back anyway, doesn't it? If you know what I mean, like less and less funding. You can't nowhere find where I'm from, an NHS dentist. You have to go private. You know, there's certain things where they say, you know, obviously I'm not knocking the NHS at all, obviously the people that work for it, but it seems like obviously the government over the years are just slowly stripping it away and making it as thin as possible, spreading it out as far as they can. You know, it's going to happen, but we're obviously very, very lucky. What's it like over in Germany? What's the healthcare system like there?
Our healthcare system is pretty good, I think. I mean, sure, there's bits and pieces you could upgrade, but still the nurses don't get paid as much as they would deserve. Our government had the awesome idea in the beginning of the pandemic to say that we can show our appreciation by, I think at 9 p.m., go on the balconies and clap for the people in the healthcare system, as if that would pay anything.
we had that. Yeah.
I can go and clap when I go shopping in the grocery store. I can say, hey, I don't have any money, but I can clap a bit for you if you want to. But I think we are getting there. I think there are more politicians seeing that the people in the, we call them system relevant jobs, they need more payment. I've seen in the beginning, I think around this time last year, there was a researcher. They interviewed her about, hey, when is the vaccine coming out? How are the funds? And she just said, hey, when you're paying those people so much, just ask Cristiano Ronaldo if he could answer that, because he gets the money, not us. And I think that kind of sums up the whole problem. We pay these incredible amounts of money to people in sports. And don't get me wrong, they earn to have money. They're in the public eye and all of that, but the amount shouldn't be in, for example, sports and entertainment, but more in research and science and healthcare, because there should be the focus, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe yeah, something maybe should be put in place where, I don't know, maybe the Premier League itself, they earn so much money, that maybe should, siphon some of it out. I know they do like grassroots for young children, but that's still just aimed around football, if you know what I mean. So it's not really, I don't know. I mean, there should be a cap. Maybe some of them are on about half a million a week now. You know, half a million euros a week, and that's a little bit excessive, isn't it?
It is. I think the whole problem with football, though, is because it's so popular. There's so much money in it, and I think the reason there's so much money in it is, we have to remember, is it's not because someone has gone around and thought, oh, these footballers are really important, therefore they should get this amount of money. It's just because it's so popular, so there's people pay a lot of money, so there's loads of money in it. So that money is going to go somewhere. Where does it go? Obviously to the players, the managers, the people that own the clubs, and these very privileged people. That's fine. Well, I say that's fine. That's how sort of capitalism kind of works in a way. But when it comes to public jobs, then things are a bit different, because then it's not just what's popular, because there's the government funded jobs. And I think because we had the clapping in the UK as well, and I don't completely agree with you, but because I think it's a nice gesture, and I think it was
absolutely
a good
but it doesn't replace payment.
I do agree with that, though. I do agree with it's a lovely sentiment, it's a great idea, but let's not let's not support
almost condescending
gestures.
Of course.
You got to be careful that you're not condescending, and you're not saying like, oh, well done. Oh, can I have beer ice? Nope, but you can have you can have a clap.
Sure. It's
we got our Simon Dan in the chat, actually.
Jokes. Oh, hi,
Mr.
Dan.
Simon Dan. Hello, mate.
Good evening again.
Why did you mention it?
I'm mentioning it now.
I'm only kidding.
I'm proud. I'm proud of it. So I'm going to shout it from the rooftops.
Absolutely. I mean, I was freaking out because Team Skeptic was in my video premiere earlier, the first time.
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That is such a crazy feeling, isn't it? Like someone that you look up to and respect, and suddenly you're like, you're watching me, like.
You should have seen me when I got the shout out from Conspiracy Cats. He commented on my Sleeping Warrior video, and my boyfriend's grandpa was in our apartment, and he didn't know what happened. I was like, oh my god, I was so freaking out. I mean, I think I had around 70 subscribers, and it was like, what is happening? And I kind of freaked out and had then do a little bit of explaining why I was screaming.
I like
it was amazing.
Simon Dan's a legend, though. I mean, because I think I like his demeanor as well. Because it's not at all aggressive, which I really, really like. Because a lot of channels that end up involved in this kind of thing, it ends up being quite aggressive and kind of like combative, and Dan always holds himself pretty well. So
he sort of holds himself above it, if you know what I mean. I'm almost glad he doesn't debate, if you know what I mean, because it's kind of like really there isn't any need to, but you've just put yourself in a position then, haven't you, where it's like, no one's ever debated Simon Dan, do you know what I mean? But imagine if it did happen. I think maybe one day, dude, like in a few years' time, you should just say, look, come on. But I don't think anyone would dare, because like they know that they'd see 10,000 people probably watch it live, and they'd get torn to pieces.
The last flat earther standing, I think, when there's only one left on YouTube, I think that could be opportunity for them to say, I'm taking you with me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He did say, well, he said that on one of his last videos was like, I can guarantee you I will still be here when there are no flat earth channels left. He says,
that's interesting though, because that's completely true. And it reminds me of, I think I mentioned this to you before, Seek, but how, because you're one of the very, very few ex-flat earthers that are quite vocal about it, shall we say? You've got Jose, you've got like a handful of others, haven't you? But there's quite a lot of ex-flat earthers though. But what most of them do is that they will just stop and go on to other things. They're not going to make a big song and dance about it because they don't want the drama.
Yeah.
They want to forget about it. And I think Dan's video is a good example of that. They're going on to do other things. Sometimes it might even be other conspiracies, but whatever it is, they're doing other things, and they're just not bothered with flat Earth anymore. They probably don't believe it, but that doesn't mean they feel the need to make videos and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's tons of people that are ex-flat earthers, but you just don't really hear about.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think there's the possibility, at least for a few of them, because as we know, the flat Earth community isn't as big and active as they were. But I think when the whole pandemic and COVID thing just calms down a little bit, many of them will go back to flat Earth. I think they just doing the COVID and vaccine conspiracy videos because people are more interested. It is more a current thing happening, a big thing. And of course, a huge conspiracy theory. But I think when that is kind of calmed down a little bit, there will be more people coming back to flat Earth, I think, at least.
I know what you mean. Yeah. And that will be...
Sorry, go on, see.
Sorry, no, I've completely forgotten there now. I was going to say, that will kind of, in my opinion, be like, the lot of sort of Karen, shall we say, people, I think, where at the minute they're just thriving off the people they can challenge, if you know what I mean. It's a lot easier to go into a shop and not wear a mask and cause a scene than run around shouting the earth is flat, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The people who are looking for attention are, like Jesse said, doing the other things. The real believers will stay with flat Earth anyway. But if you look for attention, money, fame, or whatever they are looking for, they will switch constantly to what is the most popular thing.
Yeah, but I think they will come back when the popular thing isn't giving them any clout anymore.
Yeah, because obviously COVID isn't going to stay around forever.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it with Nathan Thompson. There's not much clout to get from me, but he tried. He tried because no one cares about him. Even his flat Earth buddies don't care about him anymore. And now he thought he could use me against Irish Demon. I mean, there's not much to get from me. I mean, more than from him, but I think you can see there he wants just attention.
Yes, he doesn't care where it comes from.
Yeah,
I think for Nathan Thompson, flat Earth is extremely important. It's his oxygen.
Yeah,
I've just got a virtual baby going on over here.
No, that's not a virtual one. That's actually my daughter who just woke up. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
but
okay. I really think that with Nathan, I think he has at least doubts about flat Earth. But I think that's the reason why he is as aggressive when you challenge him, why he gets so offensive, because I think it's kind of the overcompensation. I think it's the same word in English, where he tries to just fight those doubts. And there's so many people when they know they're wrong, but they can't admit it right away, they get so offensive and try to fight everyone and everything around them. And I think that's what you can see with Nathan Thompson. It's at least how I interpret the way he is.
Yeah, I think it still is so important to him, and I think he still wants to spread the word. But yeah, he doesn't. He just doesn't. The thing is with Nathan Thompson is he doesn't deal with people disagreeing with him, and I feel like he's just like slowly spiraling downwards, and it's not very nice to see.
And not as slow as you might think.
Yeah, perhaps not even. It's just worrying. I mean, he's
yeah.
It's the determination that he has. He's just got to go out and tell these people, and he's yeah. It's
and he
but
uses
I don't have
everything.
Nathan Thompson. He argued.
Yeah.
He was on. I think he came on to RS Demon and MC2, and he was arguing about the fact that he said, "How are you doing?" and they didn't answer the question, and that became a thing. He's just so contrarian that like any little thing he will just argue.
Absolutely.
And,
I mean, he was talking to me kind of nice. I mean, I knew he just was talking to me because he thought he could get anything out of it. And he asked me about what I do for work. I said, hey, I don't do anything at the moment. I'm sick at home. And that's what he took.
I'll jump in. I'll be like, so you don't do anything? You can leech off the government. And it will just, and he will just constantly.
Completely. And then he was like, so it's a disability, right? And I was like, yeah, kind of. My God, my hand is not working anymore. Wow. And that's what he used to kind of, I don't know, discredit the Irish Demon Army to say, I've talked to a subscriber, she doesn't even work because she's disabled. Oh my God, that's not a secret. He really thought that I only told him. I mean, my whole channel is full of it. That's not a secret.
But it's just it's kind of nasty, that he like looking for just like anything he can use and then trying to beat people with him. So calling RS Demon saying, "Oh, you're fat, you're fat," and just saying you're fat in 100 different ways. And you think you're just being a bully now. You're just trying to get people down. And
and I think that's why that is because he has so much doubt in what he stands for. And he has nothing left when he would admit, hey, I don't believe in flat earth anymore. He is so hated by everyone. He wouldn't be as welcomed as you, for example, STSD. That's, in his case, not an option. And I think he knows that. And I think he just has the thought of, I take everyone down with me. I won't go down without fighting. And he's fighting everything. And he's fighting his happy end, as I would say, because if he ever would admit, hey, I don't believe it, he has nothing left. No one would give him a chance because he's
this
just
is identity,
an
isn't it?
Yep.
I just feel so bad. Like, me personally, I don't feel like there's any proof of an afterlife. And I feel so sorry for someone like that goes through their whole life kind of just preaching and believing that they're going to go to some heaven. And it's a little bit of a waste of a life. Do you know what I mean? Like, not being horrible. No offense, I know I do have Christians follow me, and many other religions, but like me personally, I just feel like dedicating so much of your time to flat Earth, and do you think he actually believes it? Like, do you think he genuinely believes the Earth is flat?
The thing is, I think he does. The problem is a lot of people will say no, he doesn't. But then I've said this before. The problem is that we're basically doing what flat earthers doing. If we do this, we're basically doing what flat earthers do. Like, where's the evidence that he? If we find like an interview or a clip or something where Nathan Thompson's saying like, oh, I don't actually believe the Earth is flat, but I make money off the flyers or whatever it is, then yeah, absolutely. But it becomes, from our point of view, personal incredulity. Do you know what I mean? Just because we can't fathom that he could being much flat earther doesn't mean he isn't.
Yeah.
Simon Dan.
Well, I was, you know, I now cannot believe I was a flat earther, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was an actual true belief for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You genuinely were. So Simon Dan brought up a good thing, brought up a good point earlier as well, which is that Nathan Thompson and a lot of these flat earthers as well, but especially Nathan Thompson, he knows his script. So any debate or any discussion with him is going to be completely pointless. He will either, Nathan will basically hammer on the same thing, wait for you to hesitate or he'll wait for one sign of weakness, and then he'll mock you for it, and he'll jump in and he'll say, I've won. But even if that doesn't happen, he'll just go down the list. He will literally just go down the list. It's like, oh, what about and bring up the same flat earth talking point. It's just so.
Isn't it the same thing with the with Mormons? I mean, you probably all know Jimmy Snow before Dear Mr. Atheist. He was a Mormon and he is now an atheist. And he talks a lot about how he was brainwashed and how he got told to interact with people outside, with the enemy. And it's basically brainwashing. And I think it's the same way Nathan Thompson and many others handle the thing. They get told, this is our logic. These are the responses we get when we try to pull people from the outside into our belief. And this is how you respond. When they go into the mission overseas or somewhere, they get trained, I think 20 or 30 days. It's just praying and training how to respond to the doubts of other people. That gets hammered into their minds so hard that they have to be so brainwashed, and they learn how to respond to every single question and argument of the other side. So they don't have even a chance to think about a different way. And I think it's the same in Flat Earth. It's the same way of thinking, like in a cult.
Oh, yeah. Flat Earthers, I mean, that's the thing. Flat Earthers, they know their responses. Because if you're going to be a Flat Earther, you have got to learn what to say. And I think, see, even you could probably attest to that, you know? If it's, oh, they talked to you about gravity. Oh, density. You know, density. Talk to pictures from space, CGI, or fake that has to be blah blah blah. Things going over the horizon, perspective. You know, you've got to have the answers ready. So even if those answers can be debunked, you've answered it with something. And then,
and the debunk they say, can always be debunked with, "Hey, they're all paid people. They're actors, scientists, aren't real."
Exactly.
So you're immune to every single bit of logic. You're immune because everything, there is no way in kind of telling them, hey, that's not true because here is this paper. And they say, yeah, but someone faked it. Or the scientists don't even know, or they're paid and the NASA shields. There is no way of talking to them with logic because they're immune. That's what I thought also with anti-vaxxers. There is no way because they always say, yeah, but they're paid. And there's no way to refute that. There's no way.
And if they have nothing left, they just deny it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can easily, I mean, when I was like Flat Earther, and you do start trying to get the people around you to understand or think the same as you, if you know what I mean. And I remember even saying to my sister, you know, she was like, you're a Flat Earther, like what on earth? And I remember saying about the close and local sun, you know, and I show her the crepuscular rays, and obviously, you know, the light is coming in straight, isn't it? But from the angle, it kind of, you know, you can twist someone up that doesn't know, and you just go, yeah, the sun's local. Can't you tell? Look at those rays. There's no way they'd be angled like that if it was 93 million miles away. And you can instantly get people to go, oh yeah, like, you know, and if they're within that frame of mind that the government lied to us, you know, they're trying to kill us, you can get him hook, line, and sinker. That's why I'm surprised other flat earthers, other conspiracists never sort of looked into it. People like, say, David Icke. But I remember when I was a flat earther, I used to say, like, oh, he's obviously a paid shill. He's trying to make people think about, you know, lizard people, so we don't realise that the Earth's flat. And oh God.
Have you in England this conspiracy theory? I just remembered because of the lizard people. There are, I think it's this woman, she's called Nade. She had a video where she calculated the different sizes between the shoulders and the head and the eyebrows to the eyes, and said, oh, you see, all those people with power and fame are transgender. And when you are transgender, you have kind of superpowers that people love you, so you get more power. That's why people try to teach their children to be the opposite sex, because that gets them superpowers. And
conspiracy theorists, that they're obsessed with, I don't know why they're really obsessed with that. They who was the guy that thought that was saying, oh, Simon Dan's a tranny or something like that? Excuse me. But I don't know if Simon Dan said. Who was that guy that did that video on you and say, oh, look, you can tell because his eyes are this and his shoulders are
right, yes. In Germany, this is a huge conspiracy theory. There are completely videos where they have pictures from celebrities and their children where they say, oh, look, they have big shoulders, so they are born a male. And it's so weird. I really don't get it, because how can you get superpowers? What is the superpower? I mean, it's basically other people love you. That's kind of the superpower. And there's also the lizard people. It's so convoluted conspiracy theory, and it's really, really big. I remember there were so many videos a few years ago.
Yeah, I did a debunk myself actually when there was a guy, and he claims to be a God-loving Christian, you know, and they're sitting there on the internet saying, this woman's a man. You can tell, you know, she's got an Adam's apple. No women on earth have Adam's apples. And I just thought, oh, I'll give that a quick Google. Do women have Adam's apple? Yes, they do. You know, not as often as prominent as men. But you know, and not that it even matters anyway, whether she had done anything. But, you know, and it was just like, well, okay, that's just a woman, mate. Do you know what I mean? And why is it even an issue? Like, it just really projects back on themselves, I think. Anyone that's really worried about stuff like that, you know, I'm not saying like, oh, they are themselves transsexuals. Do you know what I mean?
I think they don't understand it, and so it freaks them out a little bit, and so they go to like, oh, it's a conspiracy. Whereas if you, because I know a few trans people, and I'm not gonna speak for the trans community or anything, but I know a few trans people. And they're just ordinary people, and do you know what I mean? It's really just.
There's quite a few in this community. There is actually quite a few in this community, and I think because they have noticed, obviously how some debunkers get swept up away in that, and I think they quite admire how we deal with it, and you know, we just say, well, there's nothing even wrong with that anyway, you know, and so why even think that's an insult? It's just just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
One of the best ways I've seen of responding to this, and I'm going to sound like a massive fanboy here, but oh well. Simon Dan, just when he replies to the comments, and you know, have you seen these comment response videos and some of the stuff that he gets thrown at him?
Yeah.
Things people are calling him gay and said, "Oh, that's flat, blah blah blah." And his response is always, one, so what if I am? Two, and I think that's such a good way of dealing with it.
Yeah. It's why even there's a lot like I don't know, it's so unoffensive that I don't understand why they find it offensive or believe it is, if you know what I mean. It's just
I think that's from the Bible. In the Bible, there are many passages talking about that homosexuality is a sin, transgender, of course, also. And I mean, flat earth and believing in God is pretty near together. And therefore, the whole everything is a sin makes sense to them. Of course, I mean, it's bullcrap in my opinion, but yeah. But I've seen it in many, many videos. I've talked about this woman yesterday, the transformed wife. She spreads so much hate against homosexuals, transsexual people, everything that is not man and woman and child, everything else. I am probably in her mind something like the Antichrist, because feminism is horrible. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Women shouldn't be allowed to choose their husband. She also says humans, there's no way in the Bible where God tells us that humans have the entitlement to be happy. We should obey God. That's the only thing. Happiness was never mentioned in the Bible. And if you believe so hard in your husband and God, then you will love him eventually. I mean, it's called Stockholm Syndrome, but okay. And she's a horrible person. Really, really. She's one of the worst people I've ever found on the internet. Nathan Thompson is nothing against this woman. She advises to people, hey, if your child around 2 or 3 years old cries a lot and throws temper tantrums, you need to sit him into a place and hit him over a time span of 4 hours, because that's what she did to her children. And she gives that advice to other young women. And that's so horrible. I have so much actual hate for this person. It's horrible.
That's just made me think of say Nathan Oakley's Nathan Oakley's followers basically all have Stockholm syndrome, don't they? Like, it's like, I don't know if I've labeled that correctly, but you know, they're kind of almost being abused, and they kind of like it, I think.
They absolutely. So Nathan Oakley show, you know, he'll bring on someone, bring on Rumpus or something like that. Get into an argument because, of course, you know, gas pressure without a container, and then
second law of thermodynamics.
Second law of thermodynamics is violating natural law, and it will just escalate and escalate and escalate, and it will shout and say, "I'm telling you off," blah blah, blah, and mute.
I'm telling you off.
I'm telling you off now. And you know, he's quite funny the way he does it, but and you know, use the mute button. But every time he does that, if you have a look at his chat, they absolutely love it. They just think, "Oh, brilliant! You're destroying him," you know. And
you've got the mute button. Like,
they absolutely love it, and it's like when he was doing it with Witsit, that was the funniest. Have you seen the one?
Yes.
Because I don't know what on earth that was.
He went mad.
He went absolutely mad. It's like, he's a flat earther, dude. What's going on?
Yeah, but honestly, what was it about actually? Because he was saying about there is a downward bias or something.
Yeah,
wasn't
he was actually acknowledging there's something pulling something down, and Oakley would not have it. It's so funny.
That's what made me actually think. I know you know, you can't look too much into, say, body language and stuff, but I would love, like, if someone had a bit more expertise into, you know, or voice language or whatever, like how he presented himself then. Because I honestly think that was like a con man, and he was like, what do I do? How do I get around this? And all he could do was scream. Do you know what I mean? Like, he had nothing. So it's just like, if I just shout so loud, like, you know, people will just obviously believe me because I'm shouting, and that's it.
I mean, my favorite was when he asked, what color is the fabric of space-time? And it has no color, therefore it doesn't exist. That was where I was sitting there and was like,
space-time.
Sorry, say what?
Yeah.
When did he do that?
And it was so wild. I think in my very first video, I had a clip of that live stream. Don't watch the video, just watch the clip. But he really asked, hey, what color is space-time? So you don't know, therefore it doesn't exist. And that was so...
Oh my God.
I was really sitting there, and that was kind of the moment where I was, I have to make a YouTube channel. I have to say something.
Limey plays off. See you later, mate.
See you, Limey plays.
Bye.
I would love to do, in fact, I might actually do this because it might be quite funny. A fake, like, you know, these motivational posters or something of famous quotes by people. I'd love to do like one of those with things that Oakley said. Like, what is the color of space-time? And a, you know, really pensive picture like that of Oakley.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. I mean, they said stuff that I never thought would be humanly possible to say things. You don't even have to believe that it is. I would never have the creativity to ask what color has space-time. I mean, it's like to say, oh, okay, what color is oxygen? See, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's
the type of question a child would ask, though, isn't it? And like, to a child, I'd actually say, that's a really good question, if you know what I mean. Like, but like, an adult shouldn't be asking those type of questions, should they? Like,
I mean, to be fair, space-time is that's some fairly advanced physics, you know.
Absolutely.
But
color,
I think most people will know it doesn't really work like that. You know, space-time it's not exactly a fabric. You know, it's.
Yeah.
He also was like, I think he asked something like, okay, why do you call it the fabric of space-time, and who knitted it or who made it? And I was like, yeah, God's mom. I don't know. It's so weird, those stupid questions. And it wasn't like a joke, like, oh, what color is it? See? He screamed at and said, hey, if you can't tell me what color it is, you don't have a point. And the guy said, yeah, but what color is magnetism? Yeah, but we know it exists.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck logic.
I'm gonna start walking around everywhere naked now. And like, when people say, excuse me, sir, are you naked? Why are you naked? I'm gonna say, I'm wearing the fabric of space-time.
And magnetism.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's at least one person that's done that. The law of probability. I bet someone has done that. The police have stopped some guy that said he's wearing space-time.
I mean, is it wrong though?
I knew about lemon juice, but space-time is a new one for me.
Hey, Simon, then would you say it is technically the truth if someone would be standing out there naked saying, I'm wearing space-time? Is it in a weird way true? Please, I need an answer.
Nate Cross, what color are colors? Like,
but that's actually a question I asked my mom when I was, I think, 5 or 6. I asked her, what color are the colors? Because we just perceive it as, for example, green. But someone from the outside, what would he see?
What did your mum say? Say, go away. Stop asking.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. She went on the internet and searched for it and asked other people, but no one had an answer. And I had to get 26 last year. I found out that's a good question because no one knows until this day.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a good one. Oh.
Adam L. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good. Yeah.
Oh, cheers, Adam, mate. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it's not well. I'm yeah.
You're gonna get
Magnetic.
ideas now.
Now is your time to plug your OnlyFans.
Yeah. www.onlyfans./stst.com. I'm actually going to have to set one up.
For seek truth and see truth.
Oh.
I'm wondering if this is actually a thing, and STST is actually playing a clever sort of double bluff kind of game here.
Just a joke.
Yeah. YouTube's my sideline. Cool. They love flat earthers over there, I tell you. Where was I saw from Adam L? He said there is a saying in Poland: "Those who shout are usually not right," and that, yeah, we should use that saying probably a lot more.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Oh, thanks everyone, like in the chat. Thank you everyone. It's me, Mario Louis. Hello, mate. Good to see Nails 077, Nate Cross, Furby XL. I hope I've pronounced that okay. And Fred Bailey. Hello, mate. It's Tartan. Good to see you. So what's your favorite video you've done, Jesse? Like, have you had one video that you've thought, yes, this is like my favorite so far?
I don't know. I'm pretty insecure about my videos every time. I always, the minute I press upload, I'm like, oh God, did a word maybe something wrong? Maybe this and maybe that. But I think the Sleeping Warrior one is special for me because it was the first one without a script. I mean, I didn't do a script since, but it was the first one, and I think it was pretty good. I mean, Conspiracy Cats commented on it, so that's special.
That's the sign of a good video.
Yeah.
A sign.
What was that? I missed that. Sorry.
I said a sign, not the sign. It's one of the signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sign. Yeah. Very, very, very true. Yeah, it's so cool. Like I said, that's what I love about this community is how everyone supports everyone. You know,
yeah,
people don't have to go on and help people, do they? And it's just such a cool thing. I've got to thank obviously Bullet Bill. I think like he's a legend. Like every stream I do, I send him a link. And well, Deadly Dave is not here tonight, but I just love the continuity a little bit. I think, if you know what I mean. So sometimes you need another voice, if you know what I mean. I personally wouldn't be great at streaming, I don't think, if I'm just kind of interacting with the chat. I'm not quite like a Irish Demon or Creaky Blinder. They're just so entertaining, though, aren't they? They're such entertaining guys. I just love it.
You gotta be good at talking a lot, and it's like, and even if you're not shy, it's difficult to do that. You know, you've got to, especially if you're streaming as well,
to be interesting. If you know what I mean.
To be not only to be interesting, but also you're not talking to anyone, so it's an odd. People make it look easy, but it's hard, isn't it? Because you feel like
it's
not
difficult
talking to anyone, but you've got to, create that dialogue, and you are talking to people, but you're not having a conversation the same. It's an odd one. So these are a little bit easier because you obviously are talking to people.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a little panic attack when you in the beginning as the when you was like, oh, I'm right back, and you just vanished for a second. I was like, okay, what am I doing now?
Oh my god!
Yeah, he does that. He just gets up and leaves. Yeah.
But I think
and
it's not
his
that
cab
thing.
even.
It's like pushing me into the cold water, and then like, okay, go on, figure it out, and it kind of worked. I mean, I had, as I said, a little panic attack for a second, but it was pretty okay. I knew you would come back eventually. But
oh, yeah. I mean, that's it. Sometimes being thrown in the deep end is a great thing to happen, isn't it? If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Helps you get over certain. Yeah. So I did that deliberately, Jesse.
Yeah. I know. Now you say it. It was on purpose.
Yeah.
It's nice, the same. Isaac. I knew from the beginning you weren't a real flat earther.
Oh, classic.
It's like that. Because I used to teach Jesse. Didn't know, and being in front of 30 kids sometimes can be a bit. But once you get used to it, it's completely fine. But it's funny how when I used to teach, occasionally you'd have to do something where kids would have to come up and speak to the class about something, I don't know, as a presentation or whatever. And they would get so worried about that. And I can understand that, but you have to remember sometimes, it's not.
I was like that. So when you had to do a presentation in school, I'd be so nervous. I still even now, I'm not nervous now with streaming, but before I go onto a stream for the first, 10 minutes before, I'm kind of going, sort of like breathing deep. And I mean, when I actually had my interview with Simon Dan, I was actually being sick, like 5 minutes beforehand. I was so nervous, if you know what I mean, that like more or less we started filming like minutes after I'd been head over the toilet, basically. But wow. Yeah, but you get over it. When we then did the podcast, I was a lot better, if you know what I mean. Like I was only sick half as much, really. But like, I wasn't sick that time. Do you know what I mean? And like, so
is that
it's
what
anxiety.
You keep going off to?
Yeah. What now? Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I did before my. You know what I did before my first streams with Irish Demon and Hugh Jars? I was so nervous because, as I said, I have always this fear that I sound like German people who don't speak English. That's the worst fear. And I always sound like them when I think about how I sound like. And before those streams, I was so nervous, and I get, because of my hand, THC oil, and I just took some drops more than I should so I could calm down a bit because I was so nervous. I literally had to drug myself up to be able to do it.
The thing is, Jesse, and I get this quite a lot. There's a lot of people that speak English very well, like you do, but who are not native English speakers that get. Loads of them tend to emphasize the fact that they've got an accent, or emphasize the fact that I'm not a native English speaker, and sometimes that can build up in your head, thinking like, oh my god, I shouldn't be speaking so much English. Whereas in fact, most people that I speak to, their English is completely fine, and like you're fluent to the extent that I think there's been about 1 or 2 words maybe this entire stream that you've maybe struggled to grasp, but that's pretty like. I mean, you're not really struggling with English at that point. There's probably the odds random words that you might not get. So
yeah, but I think it was more my fear to sound. I mean, many of you have heard German politicians speak English. Like, we all sit in one boat and we all stand under one umbrella. And that is my biggest fear, because when I listen to them, I'm like, oh my God. And I am so afraid I sound like them that in the beginning I couldn't talk because I was just thinking in my head in all different directions. Now I'm pretty confident in my ability. I mean, I slowly lose the ability to speak German, but it's very weird because I also don't know how I learned English. I just I was in school even better in English than in German. But now I've learned so much from Conspiracy Cats, Simon Dan, from watching their videos, that I have problems explaining Flat Earth and how to debunk it in German, because I never learned the German terms for it. I learned everything I know about science, basically, most of it in English. I don't know the German words for some things, and that's a weird thing to explain to German people.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't I wouldn't have guessed you were from Germany, to be honest. Like, if I was to hear your accent, I wouldn't instantly say, well, how you say thank you, like it's a compliment.
Yeah, it is a compliment.
Is it a compliment? Oh,
I mean,
okay.
When someone learns another language, I think the goal is to speak the language as good that people not really mistake you as native, but don't really see, you're not from England or America, but I don't know where you're from. I think it is a compliment.
Yeah, I think the thing is with English, or at least I'm pretty sure you'll agree, Seek, but the one good thing is about English is that you could speak English with an accent, sometimes quite a heavy accent, and you're more than likely going to be understood. Whereas if French, for example, and I can speak like maybe a few sentences in French, you know, on a good day, but if I were to speak French in France, for example, they will struggle to understand me because of the accent. But whereas with English, there is a bit of leeway. It just gets, I think it does get hard when it gets really strong. That's when people will struggle to hear. But yours certainly isn't. It's a sort of I probably would say German if I didn't know you, but it is quite a mild accent, I would say.
Yeah, the hardest thing about, as a German, trying to learn English as perfect as you can, is we have in German not one voice S, the Z sound. We don't have it. It doesn't exist in German. And that is so hard for me to kind of train myself to use not the voiceless Z, but the with, and it doesn't exist. I never learned it. And I think that is the first thing people can pinpoint. Oh, you're not from England or America, because in both or in all English versions, as I say, is the voice S, and we don't have it in Germany, and we pronounce very heavily the last syllable and the consonants, and that is different in English. And I think there is the hardest part, I think. But I didn't even know when I started learning English that would be a thing. It was just, I think, a few months ago that I kind of thought, there is something.
That's so strange. Sorry, I was just going to say, I think the Snark, I think he speaks at least 3 or 4 languages, I think.
Yeah.
The Snark. I can barely speak English, I think, but yeah. I've forgotten more or less everything I learned in I think it was French in school. It's one of them things, unless you use it, you do lose it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's absolutely true. I had friends in school as well, 25 years ago, I guess, and I forgot everything about it. Everything.
Yeah.
I can say that I don't speak German, and I can ask if they can speak more slowly, and that's it. That's all that's all I remember.
The only thing I remember about French is je ne sais pas, and it means I don't know. Yeah. And that's the only thing I remember, because it's the most useful thing.
Yeah. Je ne sais pas. Je ne comprends pas. But we've got a flat earther in the chat, by the way, guys. Rakia Live. I was supposed to talk to him on Jose's show. He's not a bad guy, Rakia, but he's
No, there's some good guy flat earthers.
They're all Nathan Oakley's, are they?
He's busy typing out his.
It's like in every community, you have good people, you have assholes.
Yeah, that's true. On every side.
He's well and truly a flat earther, Rakia, but he's he's a nice. He's not going to hurt anyone or anything like that, and he's not.
Yeah.
He's generally not that rude, so it's okay.
Jump on if you want with him.
By the way, I've never been on a live stream before.
Hey, congratulations!
My first live stream ever.
Your first, so I'm your first.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
I don't even have a YouTube video.
How did it feel? Did it hurt?
No, he was very gentle.
I'm sorry, I had to.
I mean, I don't
and
mind.
You've got the best setup out of it. You've got the best setup out of everyone, and you've never done a live stream.
A hologram.
Yeah,
like the moon.
I actually set it up for. I do sometimes chat with people on Friday with Jesse Katz and someone else. So I was preparing for Friday to have some cool background because my wife painted the wall here. It's pink, so that's shit. So that is for Friday. So I was just testing a bit, and I click on that link that you sent. I didn't know you would pull me in the live stream. So you click me in there, and I'm like, oh hi.
That's twice that's happened now. I'm gonna have to tell
but
people
it's all fine. It's all.
I'll have to tell people, like, when you click that link, you do come into the waiting room.
I had no idea. I thought it was just a second thing that you can watch the video on. So I stayed here.
Right? Isn't it an amazing surprise to just like, hi, I'm here now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think you would have come onto the stream when you knew it was a stream?
Probably not.
See?
Because it's in my world it would have been between STST and Jesse, and not for other people. So I was not invited. If I knew what the link was for, I would have thought the link was there on accident or per accident. But yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome along. Everyone's welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's it. We have ended up having a couple of one debate was pretty decent, but the next one just turned into a horror fest, really. Yeah.
The first one, I suppose, it was probably enjoyable for the audience. But
it was frustrating, but
it was frustrating. Yeah. But it was good actually. I got to sort of flex my like atheist muscles, if you like, but.
Yeah,
because don't come at me with these weak.
He was a very extreme Christian, wasn't he? If you know what I mean, almost really probably an embarrass. Well, I shouldn't say that, but most Christians, I think, wouldn't agree with what his beliefs were. I don't think. He was that kind of
very divisive. I think I don't know whether he seems very right wing, but I don't know. Ed's like. I don't need to speak for him. He could speak for himself, and
don't let him speak for himself, please.
The good thing was the things that he was saying were challenged, because I think when he first came on, I think he was trying to basically use this stream to kind of like as a poll thing, to just kind of like speak his views of like, this is how it is, blah 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 blah. I'm super intelligent. Listen to me, blah 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 blah. This is history, blah. And all of this, and for a while,
1 minute, guys.
There was also a point where I put my foot down and say, "Hold on a minute, no, that's either that's not true, or that's unfair, or that's not accurate, or And I think so long as if you jump in when people are saying things like that, I think it's really really important.
I think so. That's why I started my channel. That's why most debunkers started their channel, just to say, no, that's bullcrap what you're talking. And I mean, it's not really about the flat earthers in particular when you're doing the videos. It's more about the entertainment, I think, for the viewers, and maybe to prevent others from falling for it. But I don't think when I make a video and I just assume it's the same with many others. It's more about the entertainment, because there is most of the time no point. I mean, do you really think when you debunk Sleeping Warrior or Nathan Oakley that there is a chance that they look at this video and say, huh, maybe they're right? I think it's really, really just for the entertainment and for maybe other people who think about flat Earth or something.
Exactly. I think that's that. I've said this before as well, but that's the thing that really kind of creeps me out. Almost scares me about flat Earth is how it teaches people to lock themselves in, basically.
Yeah.
So with flat Earth, if you're going into flat Earth, it comes with a package. Part of that package is don't listen to people tell you otherwise. And if they say this, tell them it's fake. And they teach flat earthers all these defense mechanisms to trap themselves in. And that's why. And you get people to the point where you cannot talk them out of it. You cannot talk them out of things, even if the evidence is staring them in the face. And that is terrifying to me.
Absolutely.
The fact that you can actually brainwash people to that point where it just locks up their brain. And
the very ground you're standing on, you deny it. If you know what I mean, like there can't be anything more fucked up, to be honest. I don't think. You know, when you and say gravity, even like the denial of gravity, when we wouldn't have air to breathe without it. If you know what I mean, like it's a fundamental part of life. How we became, if you know what I mean, like, and this doesn't exist. No, all made up, and they're on their high horse, and you literally, I just wish there was a formula, or you know, I know there's better ways and worse ways to kind of deal with conspiracy mindset, but oh my God. And half of them, they'll say, I'm not even a conspiracy theorist, won't they? Like they take that word as derogatory, and they'll say, no, that was invented by the CIA to make people to make woke people like me sound stupid, or you know.
They get to the point where they choose their own facts, so their reality is so warped that what even are facts? You know, I can make up my own facts. I can just say things.
Yeah, and that's what I used against conspiracy theorists. I was talking with an old friend about the whole drinking kids' blood thing, and I mean, first of all, she thought it was an insult to tell me, "Oh, Jesse, you and your evidence." Why is that an insult? That's not an insult. And I asked her, okay, where is just a hint that there are people drinking kids' blood, more than an idea? And she was like, yeah, but look at the scandal with the Catholic Church a few years ago. I was like, yeah, but where's the connection? And she said, yeah, when this happens, the other thing isn't impossible. And she genuinely thought that would be evidence.
Is this QAnon?
Yeah, she wasn't really in QAnon. She was really just the adrenochrome thing. And I was talking to her and asking her so many things, and she couldn't answer. It was just like, yeah, but... and no idea. And then I told her the thing, because she was also, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, that's the truth. And I said, if you have a fact and you have to make up a whole different story to change the meaning of that fact, you are per definition a conspiracy theorist, because facts shouldn't need a story for your theory behind it. Well and said, she really didn't even respond at the end anymore, because she didn't know what to say. And I have another short question. Do you think, and also to the chat, not jet, do you think it would be an interesting video to compare the BITE model, where you can compare different questions to something you would think could be a cult. It's a model to define what is a cult and what is not a cult. Would you think that could be an interesting idea to do the BITE model with flat earthers in mind? Just had the idea.
I think so, definitely. I would call it myself like an e-cult, if you know what I mean. But even now, obviously, you know, they do have the conventions and meeting up in person and things like that. But yeah, I think that'd be really interesting myself.
Cool. Well, because then I look more into it, because I know that again from Jimmy Snow, he did it with Mormonism, and it is basically a guide used by psychiatrists and scientists to determine what is a cult, what is a religion. And I just thought about the idea that it maybe could be interesting to look at the things and how many things we could check.
Yeah.
Just thinking about flat earthers.
I think Telltale did the same for the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, it's easy. It is easy to label things, I suppose, as a cult, and it's quite damaging. Like, I have done a video before where I just put like flat Earth is a cult or something, and you know, it really did get a lot of people's backs up. And I thought, like, oh, did that have like a backfire effect? You know, because I try to make my videos to the point where, like, if someone is on the fence, they are gonna at least kind of understand or think, you know, oh, they're not just being a dickhead. They are trying to help people, if you know what I mean. It's just so difficult how to deal with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's so different.
The thing is, Seek, and I guarantee I've had this as well. And if we're all being honest with ourselves, all of us in the debunking community, whether they're a content creator or not, if we are all being honest with ourselves, and I know this is true for me, we have all had the thought of, all of these debunkers are going about it wrong. I know if I did X, Y, and Z to flat earthers, or showed them X, Y, and Z, they will stop being flat earthers, and that's the way to get through to them. And funnily enough, you know, we all slowly, at different rates, realize that no, actually, you don't have the secret formula to, you know.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to see one or two reaction videos to the debunking to know that it's no use.
Yeah.
They will deny everything, go against everything, and will not apply normal logic. So
it's not it's not no use. That's the frustrating thing. It's not that it's not useful. It could just feel like it, because 99% of the time it is. You do get your one, but you do get your hits though. You do get your time split where you reach people. And
I mean, FTFE, you know, like say he's one of the people on more the scale of, you know, calling someone straight out an idiot, but he has still had probably just as much success as someone like Conspiracy Cats, if you know what I mean. And I've seen people myself say, oh, FTFE, I watched his stuff and I was so close to being a flat earther, and I found his channel, and now I'm, you know, now I know we live on a globe, and if you know what I mean. So that does prove you that I think everyone is just as successful, if you know what I mean, obviously comparing to their reach. So obviously, say someone like Simon Dan is going to have probably hundreds of people that were teetering on flat earth that now obviously are big fans of him, and, you know, probably never even mentioned that they were nearly a flat earther or something, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think there's not a right way or wrong way of going about it, because, you know, as whilst like what FTFE does, for example, calling people idiots, that's not a very nice thing to do. But at the same time, they're kind of acting like idiots. There's not really an idiot. So you know, it's you have to kind of take a step back and think, well, you know, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? But yeah, like I said, there's not a secret formula. I think to properly get through to some of the worst affected flat earthers, that's no job for one. One. That is going to take deprogramming. That is going to take a concerted effort. That's going to take professionals. And it's
I almost think it couldn't be done online, if you know what I mean. It would have to be more or less in person. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd have to be.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, because I, you know, obviously I was a flat earther, but I wasn't in anywhere near as far as someone like Nathan Thompson, or you know, their whole identity is flat earth, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not saying I was a weekend flat earther, but you know, I had my own channel, but you know, I had other things. It didn't define my life outside of what I was doing. You know, so it probably was an easier transition for someone like me. I hadn't built up a community around me and lots of subs and things, if you know what I mean. That sort of, you know, came sort of a bit after that, if you know what I mean. So I just feel so sorry for them, you know. Say Rakia Life in the chat, you know, there is not one single piece of evidence for a flat earth. And you know, it's good to be proud. You know, I'm not saying this, but like obviously a proud flat earther. But there literally is. There's nothing in it. There literally is nothing in it. It's just unfortunately confusion, misinterpreting what is trustable science, what isn't, and trusting the wrong people. Really, reverse indoctrination. You know?
Yeah, I think the worst thing for me when I try to think about how can you enter, how is it possible that a person with, that's no offense to any conspiracy theorist, but most of the time the loudest people in the community are most of the time comparatively uneducated. And that a pretty uneducated person, the Dunning-Kruger effect basically, but that someone who is sitting there has no scientific background whatsoever is sitting there and saying, hey, Einstein was wrong. Every scientist ever alive was wrong. I am the only one. I never went to a proper school after high school, for example, but I am the only one knowing everything. I've been told that when I ask for equations and calculations and predictions, they told me that's not scientific. What? How can you be so arrogant to think that you really have a point in dismissing thousands of years of trying to discover what is happening around us, only to say, no, gravity isn't real, things fall down because of, I don't know. I mean, I really struggle to understand how you can be so arrogant, because I have so much respect for people in the scientific field. I wish I was one of them.
Yeah, but there's people that don't know. There's people that will just say, "Oh, scientists, what do they know?" And the other thing you said though, that they're always the loudest. But the other thing is, because they're loud and they say, and because of the manner how they come across, talking about your Oakleys, superficially, they can sound very confident, because they are often very confident.
Yeah, and so that's the problem.
And that gives them charisma. So people that don't know any better think, oh, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. They don't know whether. So. Yeah. They don't have the scientific knowledge to know that it's false, but it does sound convincing. They sound very confident. They speak very well. So,
but shouldn't it be a little bit suspicious when a guy says Einstein was an idiot? That would be the first one where I would go,
Oh, I actually said that in a video. I said Einstein was wrong,
and I still cannot understand it. I mean, I am really, when it comes to science, as nerdy as some can get. I have science tattoos. I have E = mc squared tattooed. I have, this is a meteor. And I cried like a baby when my sister gave me one, because since I was 2 years old, I always wanted to have a meteor. I told my boyfriend, if you ever going to propose, I don't need a diamond. I want a meteor because it's way cooler. And
yes.
I have this video on my Instagram, and she said, hey, I'm going to make you cry. And I was like, yeah. And I opened this and was, oh no, and immediately started crying because I'm so amazed by everything that is remotely scientific, because I think it's so amazing to think about. There was a Big Bang, and then billions and billions of years later, there are creatures like humans. We invented computers, the fact that we are sitting there talking to each other. When you could think about what could have happened otherwise, that there wouldn't be life at all. I think it's so amazing. And then there are these fuckers saying no. And I don't get it, really. I really struggle. I get so angry at times when my boyfriend comes home and is like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, these people are so stupid. I get so angry because I don't get it.
I tell you what, Jesse, are you interested in geology and stuff like that and rocks, or is it just the meteors? Because I am interested also in geology, but for me the craziest thing about this is to think about that this was out there, where almost, or not almost, but this comes from a place where no life probably has ever been before. And what kind of coincidence it must have been that this thing landed on Earth. And I think there's such a huge meaning, scientifically speaking, for me at least, about it, that I was crying so bad when I got, because I have never had enough money to say, okay, I can spare this to buy one. And that was one of the biggest wishes I ever had. And that's why I get so offended when someone says, oh, Einstein is an idiot. It's really like they would insult my mom. It's the same reaction in my brain. I take it so personally. I think eventually, Jesse, you will build up a sort of resistance to the kind of almost the cheek of it. I'll tell you what though, your meteor reminded me of something though. I don't. This is going to sound really nerdy here, but I actually have a sort of rock collection. There was a magazine subscription service one time, and they're really expensive, and a lot of them aren't that good. But I thought, you know what, screw it, I'm doing it. And you get sent a different, like, it'll be a rock or a mineral or a gem or something like that every 2 weeks or something, and that was really cool. Actually, I kind of want to show you. Do any of you know bismuth?
Yeah, that's so cool. The
crystal.
The crystals. They're
show it to us.
Yeah, I don't know how it's called. Yeah, there's so cool things.
Super
around
chat,
it.
actually. Sorry. Sorry, I cut you off there, Jesse.
No worries.
I've had a super chat from JSS Tiger, $5. Thank you very much, mate. Eric Dubé's latest video on the Mars rover was some epic Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah. He was comparing a spacecraft with the speed of an aircraft. How do you even... I can't even describe the stupidity of that.
No.
And it's just one example that stick with me. I forgot all the rest because it would kill my brain cells. Probably did, that's why I forgot.
The way people fall for the way they fall for, is it Devon Island, where they film or practice with the rover or whatever, and obviously some stooge has taken those photos, put a red filter on it, and then been like, oh look, they're clearly only in Devon Island, and it's just pathetic, isn't it?
Here we go. His bismuth. I don't know how well you can see that. Put it up to the camera.
That's so
cool.
I've
seen it. I've seen that before. It's like a real
square.
They make these beautiful crystals.
Yeah, the squares and stuff. So
and
perfect.
And the colors. And it's because this is a metal. This isn't. This is an element, you know, like gold. And can you see how it's flat, like here, like a flat sort of surface.
I knew that was coming.
So what happens is, and I've actually done this before with bismuth, because you know how water freezes, for example. They will make a pattern. So snowflakes, they form those patterns naturally because they're basically crystals. It's the same with some other substances. So bismuth, for some reason, when it freezes, it will naturally form these kind of square-shaped crystals. And I've done this before where you can melt bismuth because bismuth, its melting point is not very high, you know? It's quite soft. So you could melt it on your stove at home if you wanted to. Be careful if you do that. I wouldn't recommend that. It is more than metal. But
speaking from experience? Are you speaking from experience?
I'm not speaking from. I've done it at school one time just for a laugh, but I got crystals, but I didn't get one this big. I bought this. But
I did some experiments with gallium.
Oh, gallium's another good.
Oh, I've seen that video.
You can melt it. You can melt it
on my Instagram, I posted it because it was. I felt like the Hulk because I don't have strength in my hand, especially the broken one. But I asked my boyfriend to take aluminum with him home so I can test it because the gallium kind of oxidates with the aluminum. And after 2 hours, I could hold this pipe and just crush it with my bare hands. And I felt so good. And you can really, I tried it with an old bike. I just a few drops on the I don't know how it's called, where you sit on
the frame.
The frame.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's the same in German. But, you need just a few drops, and after a few hours, you could hear, ba-bum, and the whole thing basically shattered into pieces because it got so weak that the whole bike just fell into itself.
There's also a video about this. There's also a video about this, with a lock with that stuff on it, and it's a big, massive lock, and he puts the stuff on it, and in a few hours it's totally dust, and he opens the lock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Backyard Scientist. I've seen a video from him about this. So cool.
Oh, I'll have to look that up.
Talking about here is gallium's a metal, but has a really low melting point. Its melting point is 30-something degrees, so it will melt in your hand. You could have a gallium coin that will just.
It looks like mercury. It's in the periodic table right below mercury.
Yeah, it's not quite
properties
because mercury is literally a liquid, but gallium. I think what happens is because it's the same with mercury. If you mix it with other metals, because it is liquid, it kind of can amalgamate with it. You know, it can mix in with it. Like you have alloys.
Okay.
But because it kind of ruins the structure of the metal, it makes it really, really weak and brittle. Because the whole reason metals are very strong is because the atoms are nicely organized next to each other, you know, a nice pattern. So they kind of lock together. But if you imagine, if you've got that nice pattern and you try and throw some different sized atoms in there, it's going to mess with the structure, isn't it? It's going to kind of ruin everything. So
and it steals electrons, I think. So it oxidates basically with the electrons on the outside. And it's really, really good. I've seen it with Niall Red. He's I think, biochemist.
Oh, Niall Red.
Yeah, and I love his videos. And
so now
I learned so much.
Very, very quickly interject, but Niall Red is a YouTube chemist because you know that we're familiar with all the YouTube physicists, aren't we? But he's a YouTube chemist, and he does all sorts of things. He does chemical reactions. He makes I think he actually made bismuth from something you could buy in a pharmacy.
Pepto-Bismol, Pepto-Bismol,
and he actually got the bismuth out of it.
Yeah,
so he does all sorts of cool things like that.
And he made stuff out of his pee. He extracted things. He extracted DNA from strawberries. so cool, and it's so easy. And I sit there watching those videos, debunking videos, science videos, SciShow and Veritasium. I sit there with a notebook and take notes because I'm so scared I will forget all those information. I sit there and take notes. I have a TV notebook where I take notes while watching TV because I'm so scared I forget all of that.
That's a good
they
one.
do say writing something down is good, though. If you know what I mean. When you write something down, it kind of, sort of really puts it in your mind, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he did one, I think, with mercury on aluminium or something like that.
Yeah, and it's so
really
cool.
Odd. Yeah.
And
my chemistry's not that good, so I'm not going to try and explain it, but
I mean, I'm afraid a little bit of mercury just because of the whole stories. I know it's not as toxic as people make it out to be, at least if you're not drinking it.
You still don't want it, though. Mercury.
Of course, but the next best thing was gallium, and so I ordered it on Amazon and played with it.
Good old Amazon.
You could buy gallium. It's not, because the thing is with gallium is it's not really that toxic, so you don't have to worry that
not
much.
At all. It's pretty safe.
Mercury you wouldn't be able to buy like that, but then that's because it's it attacks other metals. It's a liquid. It's not
gallium,
very good for you as well, so you can't be messing around with that.
Yeah, and if you take gallium with you to the airport, they will arrest you instantly because airplanes are made of aluminum. Aluminum is it in English, but you get arrested because they can declare you a terrorist when you take that on the plane, because you can literally just break the plane while flying.
Yeah, it is dangerous because it melts very easily. And
I mean, if you have someone you don't like, most cars are made of aluminum, so.
Jesse, I think
you're on the old steering shaft.
What kind of car has Nathan Thompson? No, I'm joking. Just to be sure, just for legal reason, that was a joke. Okay,
guys. I think with Rakia, I think try not to time him out unless he says something like sufficiently bad to warrant a timeout, because he's allowed to. I know it's annoying, but I think he should be allowed to make those comments unless he's literally spamming.
And a little thank you to all of you. I just saw I'm now at 452. Thank you so much. Really good. Yeah, I think I earned another 20 subscribers since starting the stream. So
even I got one, and I don't even have videos.
Awesome.
I remember when I first started, I subscribed to everybody that subscribed to me, and then people were saying why are you subscribing? I don't even make videos. I was I don't know, I'm just doing it because you sub to me.
You want to be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Has your subs gone up at all, Bullet Bill, since we've been streaming?
Maybe one or two, but it's like I said before. It's not really relevant to most of the people watching.
Yeah,
people can do.
I always say Bullet Bill doesn't want subscribers.
Well, even if people do, if those people are oh, screw it, I'll sub to him, they'll probably realize I'm not really interested in the content and unsub, which is fine. But it's yeah, I do Minecraft stuff just to give you.
So, guys,
I love Minecraft.
I have to work in a few hours in the morning, so I'm
about to round the stream up, actually, maybe in the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Then I will wait a few minutes for that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll go. We'll sort of obviously, yeah. What was that? Sorry, Bullet Bill, mate, about Minecraft.
I was just saying how I was just saying I got Minecraft content on it, and that's it.
I saw something the other day, actually, a guy testing out Minecraft ingredients and things in real life or something. Have you ever seen stuff like that, like making the torches in real life? And
yeah, well, the thing is, Minecraft is loosely based on stuff you actually do. So, for example, to make to make iron, you stick it in a furnace with coal, and that's similar to how you actually get iron in real life. The only difference is you mix it with iron as well, because I'm not going to go into the chemistry of it, whatever. And you know, to make sand, you put glass in a furnace, and that's similar to how you make glass in real life. So it does have parallels.
Now I know why I always scream when I play Minecraft with my friends. When there happens something, when I technically stand not on the bridge but next to the bridge, and we all scream, "Explain that, science!" I think that's based on this.
Quality. Oh, well, yeah, we'll kind of go round everyone now and just sort of give everyone an opportunity to say goodbye. Mr. 42, it was very nice meeting you tonight, mate, and you did very well with your baptism of fire.
Thank you very much. It was nice being here.
Good. Glad for you to come along, buddy. Have you got anything you'd like to add at all, or?
Not really, no. I have no channel to promote, nothing I do that is community. Yeah, I have no idea. So I'll pass on this.
No worries, buddy. Bullet Bill, mate?
Yeah, thanks for the stream, as always. I'm going to spam the chat with my channel. You should all go over there right away and subscribe. I don't care if you don't like Minecraft, but that's all you're going to get.
Yeah, I think Bullet, like I say, Bullet Bill deserves a little sub, I think. I think he plays
modest.
Yes,
37 subscribers.
7. Is it,
yeah. No, I really love having you on here, mate. You really seem to really help with the conversation and keep it really, really sort of flowing, mate. So I really appreciate you.
Yep. But
thank you very much.
I just like talking a lot, so yeah.
Yeah. So do I. So it's all good. It's all good. Jesse, thank you so much for coming along. Like I say, you've been a breath of fresh air within the community, and glad you got a few extra subs. Anyone else obviously watching this back, please do go over and hit the sub. Let's get a closing in on 500, soon to be 1,000, I'm sure.
Thank you, everyone. Much.
Thank you. Yeah, do you have anything you'd like to add or chill out or anything?
No, I think I'm good. You shouted me out. I think that's all I could ask for. Thank you so much. It was really, really a nice stream. It was good conversations.
Yeah, it was really fun. Thank you all again for coming along. Crackle Cat, hello. Owlman, thank you very much. Yannick, Nails077, Chris, Dum Jezza, Martin H, and everybody that came along. Thank you very much. JSS Tiger, I'm sure you're there. Thank you, sir, for your super chat. It means the world. Please do hit that like also, if you haven't already, to help more people see Jessie and go and sub to her. So thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe and keep it global.
Stay sensible.
Stay sensible.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.